Every day, students in the Mississippi Delta walk by this plaque on their way to class. It's a reminder of the history of the school, that it was created immediately after Brown v. Board of Education as part of the Sunflower County Consolidated School District for Color. Inside, this is what it looks like on any given day between October and May. What message does a school like this send to our children? What do you think is going on inside the classes when this is what it looks like outside? What level of rigor and expectation are we holding students to? But a challenge like this of educational inequality is not a local challenge. It's not local to the Delta, it's not local to the South, it's not even an American challenge. It's truly global in nature. And if our students are going to solve a challenge like this, they have to think across disciplines. That's why we're creating Eureka First, another option for families in the Delta. We want our students to see how they can encounter the global challenges and solve them in their own local community.
Vision. At Eureka First, we cultivate global citizens in the Mississippi Delta.
Mission. Eureka First cultivates action-oriented thinkers who tackle global challenges with experts across disciplines. Welcome to Eureka First.
Fast forward to September of 2015. Our founding class of 6th graders are on campus, and they're tackling the essential question of how do we address nutritional inequality in our communities? For the last 2 weeks, they've worked hard. They've studied, they've researched, they've debated the role of uneven access and healthy foods in low-income communities. Their solution: a community dinner for local lawmakers and business leaders. Their solution has multiple facets. Our students have prepared a menu of local ingredients. They've crafted a cost-effective budget. They've cooked and made the meal for a large crowd. And lastly, our students have developed their own recommendations for how we should tackle nutritional inequality, and they've selected the best vehicle to share the message with local leaders. Everything about our approach is truly interdisciplinary.
Students apply science content and skills to prepare proportional servings and quality nutrition.
They apply their math skills in preparing a budget and in scaling up their recipes.
They've applied their social studies skills to see how geography and income impact what they eat.
And finally, our students apply their English language arts skills when they develop and craft their argument for the change that they want to see.
So how are we going to get students here? Eureka First rests on 3 fundamental pillars. First, everything our students do is directly related to taking community action. Nothing is done in the abstract. Second, all of our curriculum is interdisciplinary. This is where we bring together all the content areas. And third, both of those priorities are undergirded by teachers who are constantly growing and mastering their craft. You're going to first hear about how we put our money where our mouth is to make sure students are taking action in their community. We put a full 8% of our budget to getting students out into the Delta.
At Eureka First, we extend teaching and learning beyond the classroom into our community. Our students are doing engaging, productive things to better their community. Our rigorous action-oriented curriculum guides our students toward developing their own solutions and then presenting those solutions to their community, just like we're doing today. Opportunities for community action are limitless, even though our students don't live in metropolitan areas. They can plant a community garden with the help of an expert in gardening. They can produce a public service announcement for their community to educate them on what a healthy diet is and why it's important, how it affects our bodies, and how it affects our minds. They can even go into their local bank and propose a micro-lending program because they know that in their communities, there are not a lot of small businesses. They might even approach our principal and say, "Hey, Mr. Wallace, we've been learning a lot about nutrition. We need healthier school lunches." At Eureka First, we breathe life into teaching and learning.
Our second pillar is our interdisciplinary curriculum. The challenges our students will face when they grow up are not neatly divided into math, science, social studies, and ELA. This is where we break down the barriers by putting 9% of our budget towards realizing this goal.
Eureka First interdisciplinary curriculum aligns to Common Core standards. This is to ensure that students receive comparable education nationally and internationally. Because students have to work in diverse groups and settings daily, we provide our students with social and emotional intelligence education. This is to equip our students with academic and personal skill sets that cultivate global citizenship. Teachers, using resource budgets and instructional support, design and facilitate curriculum that exposes students to local, national, and international expertise and information. At Eureka First, we challenge and support our students to use knowledge and skills in the classroom, in the Delta, and in the global community. Our interdisciplinary curriculum comes alive through our scheduling. Students begin the day with social and emotional intelligence education.
This is Zoe, and by the time we open in 2016, Zoe will be one of our founding members of our 6th grade class. Like almost every student, Zoe is intimidated by public speaking. But if she's going to be speaking in front of her community and presenting her solution, we got to overcome that. So this is the period in the morning where we encounter things like that. We'll do a fear protocol to see what Zoe fears so she can manage it.
Students then transition to core subject instruction.
In math, Zoe will see graphs and charts so she can see how income inequality and nutritional inequality play out among different groups in her community. She'll read a narrative in ELA to see what it really means to struggle to put food on the table. In social studies, she'll see how the geography of the Delta impact the catfish that she eats. And in science, she'll conduct an experiment to see how the soda pop she drinks is rotting her teeth.
Students then go to lunch, recess, and then sustained reading.
We don't want to waste the lunch period, so students eat and then they read, which allows our teachers to go off and collaboratively plan.
Students then participate in Global Challenge collaboration.
This is where we really bring it all together. Students directly take what they learned in the morning and apply it to the challenge that they're considering. They'll take their math objective and solve the problem of nutritional inequality right then.
Students end the day by taking formative assessments and debriefing results. From results, students are put in small groups for small group intervention and extensions.
Like almost every student, Zoe struggles sometimes. But she'll never leave a day at Eureka First without us knowing where she stands and having a chance to fix that. If she struggled in math in the morning, we'll have a chance to intervene before she leaves. If she excelled, we'll push her even further. So all of this is unique and ambitious, and how are we going to get there? It all rests on our teachers constantly improving and becoming masters of their craft. It's why we spend a full 45% of our budget on that goal. How do we pay for this? We bring community leaders and supports so that we can really put our money into these 3 priorities.
We know that our instructional model at Eureka First is unique, and that for it to work, our teachers must be the #1 learners at our school. Our teaching learning model has multiple layers, starting with coaching. At Eureka First, every grade level has a coach. That's 1 coach for every 4 teachers. On any given day, you might see our coaches doing a variety of tasks. They might be conducting their weekly observations of each team of teachers. They might be analyzing data to determine which Common Core standards their grade level team needs to include in the next global challenge. Or they might even be providing direct intervention with students if that's what the grade level needs most. Our coaching model starts with our summer symposium. For 3 weeks during the summer, we get together as a team. We develop norms. We learn about interdisciplinary curriculum. And for the last week of our summer symposium, we plan our first 2 global challenges for the year to make sure that we start the school year off strong. Our coaching does not end with the summer symposium. Every single Wednesday for 2.5 hours, we have early release so that teams can get together with their coach. During this time, they're going to debrief observations, analyze data, and even role play the situations that they're facing in their classroom with their new professional knowledge. The next layer of our teacher learning plan is collaboration. We value collaboration so much at Eureka First that for an hour every single day, our leadership team facilitates lunch, recess, and reading so that our teachers can get together, make adjustments to their materials, and give each other feedback about how the morning has gone so far. The last and most important layer of our teacher learning plan is cultivation. At Eureka First, we know that to transform the Delta, to transform our school, we must cultivate local talent. Therefore, we have developed a partnership with Delta State University and Mississippi Valley State University through our Global Teaching Fellowship.
This is Tony Bell, a former student of mine. In class, he loved computer science and cracked a joke. Now, he's studying to become a science teacher at Mississippi Valley State University. How powerful could it be to get him back in our school to share his science knowledge and humor with our students?
Tony is the perfect candidate for our Global Teaching Fellowship. As a fellow, Tony will enroll in a fully funded master's degree in science education at Mississippi Valley State University. He will be mentored by our math teacher, who has tremendous experience in working with the community and developing interdisciplinary curriculum. He'll have access to the excellent coaching we have in place on our campus. At the end of 2 years, we can just imagine the impact that Tony will have on the community where he grew up due to the transformational learning he experienced at Eureka First.
At Eureka First, what we do is unlike anything else in the Mississippi Delta. And we're going to get there by focusing on these 3 components.
Last week marked the 50th anniversary of Freedom Summer, when 3 students were killed for trying to register black voters in the Mississippi Delta, just down the road from where Eureka First will stand. Our students are the heirs of that legacy. But the Sunflower County Consolidated School District for Colored is not doing justice to that legacy. It's not doing justice to it for Zoe. It's not doing it justice for Samisa or Ashanique. But how meaningful could it be to have these students engaging in the same type of community problem solving of those who came before them? You see, educational inequality was our global challenge. Eureka First is our local solution. Thank you.
Congratulations again. Your compelling ending there really highlights both the deep need and the incredible opportunities in the Mississippi Delta region of the country, as you've described, that hasn't almost at any time kept its promises to kids and families, and has also been very resistant to innovation, particularly from folks who are not from the Mississippi Delta. So I'm wondering, what are your strategies, your plans, what are early signs that this the vision that you have has a possibility of being reality?
We deliberately picked Sunflower County, and in particular Indianola, Mississippi, because for a long time there's been a growing movement within the community for change. Community leaders recently stepped up and demanded change, and I can think of 5 businesses off the top of my head who really control the city that have come forth and asked for more from the school system. They were able to convince the federal government to infuse a large sum of community development money into the Sunflower County School District. And this is also the first time that a charter school could start in Mississippi. The law was just passed this previous January, so this would be one of the first in the state and the first in the Mississippi Delta itself.
So one of my questions, you guys are really good, passionate about this. One of my questions, no, so that piece is component inspiring and the need and connection to the community. But how do you prepare, I mean, if you just drive through Mississippi Delta, the cultural poverty is so visible in comparison to other places in the country. And what is your plan to prepare your staff to work with a diverse community with such significant needs in this community? What does that look like in reality in regards to adult learning on a daily practice? Just preparing staff to interact, not only with, like, how do you motivate students, engage them, or build that trust and relationship when many of the you might be going into your school who look very different, come from very different backgrounds. But in order to be successful, you have to build those important relationships. How do you prepare them for the challenges of working in such a place of high need, relationships with families that are very powerful?
No, thank you for your question. It's something we definitely had to spend a lot of time thinking about with the challenge of talent recruitment and teacher training in the Mississippi Delta. So we thought about it in two pieces. And I think first of all, it goes back to the line that we cannot transform our school without cultivating local talent. And so we really, really prioritize developing local talent, even if it means taking a teacher who may be raw, fresh out of college, and really developing the skills. They understand the community, they have the relationships there, and then it's just developing the pedagogical and teaching skills through our teacher training program. The other piece is we really do want to develop a relationship with Teach for America Mississippi. Our initial thought was a lot of our experienced teachers in the first and second year will be Teach for America alumni. There's a lot of interest in Teach for America alumni in staying in the Delta, but there aren't many schools that provide them with the compelling opportunity to stay in the Delta. So we definitely want to capitalize on a lot of the teacher support that Teach for America provides, especially in terms of the training around culture and diversity that already exists.
Okay, congratulations, and it's exciting to see change coming in Mississippi. Question or pushback, I think, on your enrollment data. To do sixth grade with 75 to 80 students per grade, it's very difficult to have the richness and the diversity of programming to be financially sustainable. And I feel like you all might be setting yourselves up for some difficulty there. How did you decide to do the 80 student cohorts? Have you thought about something larger? I think we've generally seen that high schools are much more sustainable if they get to the ballpark of, say, 100 to 150, maybe 125 to 150 students per cohort. Can you walk me through your thought process?
Sure. Financial was certainly a consideration. We were able to make the budget work without making any wild assumptions with that 80, especially because some of the supplemental services that other schools have considered could be done and are looking to be done by community partners. Mental health is funded by the Delta Health Alliance and the Indianola Promise community. So that's one of the was one factor. Secondly, we wanted to keep it small because our model is based around problem solving. We really wanted students to be able to work together, much in the way that we did in SPA, so that they could problem solve to come up with solutions.
Thank you. Ms. Stevens.
So, first of all, congratulations. That's very tough to be up there. I send you my love. I forgot my lines as well. My question for you is around the notion of developing global citizens. And you talked about gauging your success by looking at what students are able to do once they leave you. And I'm wondering about how you will assess real-time students acquiring skills and what those skills are that you think are necessary for them to be global citizens. So what are the habits of mind that you are looking at as a benchmark, and how do you plan to assess your school and your success as you're moving forward?
All right, so for us, assessment has two layers. So first of all, assessment in terms of mastery of Common Core state standards. That's something where we designed our schedule. We were really intentional in making sure that our Common Core standards were introduced every single morning in core content instruction, reinforced during global challenge collaboration time, and assessed again at the end of the day. And so we know that while our model is different, we still have the opportunity to integrate those state standards and really assess students on those regularly. In terms of the global citizenship skills that you were talking about, we broke down what we defined as global citizenship into a few key attributes. So we thought about kids' ability to research a topic, weigh different perspectives, communicate their ideas, and develop innovative solutions. And we discussed developing some sort of rubric where during every global challenge, students aren't just assessed on the Common Core standards, but they're also assessed on whether or not they can do those things effectively through every interaction that they have.
Thank you.